Rising star Harper Grace has a brand new single release on the horizon, and it's stealing hearts of listeners across the world with her spunky vocals and amazing attitude. She joins me now. Good morning, Harper. How are you?
Good morning. I need to take you around with me all the time. That was a wonderful intro. Wow.
I'd be happy to intro you more. Yes, let's talk about that later. Now, Harper, let's start with this. Was music what you knew you'd always do?
Honestly, yeah. My mom put me in gymnastics as a young girl because she was an elite gymnast. And at 6 years old, I told her I wanted to quit and do music. And she thought I was crazy because nobody in the family did music. But yeah, I had a dream at such a young age and was super dedicated and wanted to do anything I possibly could to make it happen.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting thing here, like observation on my behalf. I was listening to your EP earlier, and your vocals sort of remind me of like a young Miranda Lambert with your power kind of within your vocals and just the strength behind them as well. So who would you maybe say some of your early inspirations for your craft were?
Dolly Parton was my top tier inspiration. I always loved her. My Nana used to have her on records in the living room growing up all the time. I also really loved Rascal Flatts growing up, as well as Christina Aguilera. I loved Rascal Flatts, though, in the country realm because they did such a wonderful job at tying in the soul and the country. And I grew up in a gospel choir with my family doing mission work. And yeah, that for me, when I realized I could blend this soul and this like grittiness with the storytelling of being poetic on the country realm, I was sold.
That actually makes so much sense to me, that kind of country blend with someone like Christina Aguilera, because like you said, the soul, but also she's like one of the great divas of our time. So that makes a lot of sense to me, and I appreciate hearing that. Now, as I mentioned, you had an EP released last fall called Take It to the Grave. So tell me how this one came together.
Take It to the Grave was fun. That one was something that was actually inspired by my mom, how she kind of encouraged me to have a lot of confidence growing up. She used to make me look in the mirror and say, I am beautiful, I am confident, I am, me, I'm all of these things. And, going into the dating realm and stuff like that, it really kind of was a comedic take on, how I felt confidently with ties into, the music video has some bits and pieces of these different guy characters and playing it out in that manner. I used to watch a lot of I Love Lucy with my grandma as well as old Western films. And so I wanted to piece together this silly Texas funky, confident girl with all the comedic timing of an old Western film. And yeah, being from Texas, I think when somebody's from Texas because we tell you about 50 times and it's as loud as can be. And so that Texas confidence and that sass and grit was definitely also an inspiration of it. But
yeah, I love that. Well, I want to take a little detour here for a second and ask about that. So obviously you are a Texas native, as you said. How do you feel like your Texas roots has kind of made who you are and maybe even had an impact on the musician that you've become?
That's a wonderful question. I think growing up in Texas, you learn a lot of humility, as I guess maybe that could sound silly because we are very loud about being Texans, but I think that there's such a Southern grace about growing up in Texas. You have this wonderful way of establishing a family-oriented like relationship with people that you don't really know that well. And I'm just really grateful for having those roots. And it has been really easy to transition in my move to Nashville because I think a lot of people in Tennessee are very similar. I think a lot of Southern people are just warm and welcoming, and I'm a hugger. I don't really shake many hands. I'm like, you're my friend, come over. You want to have some sourdough bread from my kitchen? Come on in. But yeah, I definitely think that has been a big piece of my roots that I've never let go of, is just the hospitality aspect that Texas teaches you.
Yeah, well, the world can never have too much warmth and light, so I can appreciate that you've really taken those attributes on throughout your whole life. Now, your brand new single, If Daddy Says No, comes out at the end of February, and there's kind of an interesting backstory and message on this one, so can you tell me more about this?
Of course, yeah. This song has been so interesting to release and to get the opportunity to share this very personal piece of my story. I was actually in a relationship at the time that was not honoring me at all, and that I kind of was stuck in and I didn't know how to get out of. But in this time period of writing If Daddy Says No, I was kind of wrapped up in this manipulated state of thinking that I could just run away and get rid of everything and just, go and be married and live out my little hopeless romantic life, when at the end of the day I realized, some of those hopeless romantic movies that I love so much, those characters sometimes might not even be good for each other, and you don't even know how the story ends. Like, they never tell you the rest of their lives. Maybe it didn't go like it was supposed to. And so I kind of took a bird's eye view of how it might turn out if I kept that route going. And growing up in Texas, having family being so important to me, especially my relationship with my dad, growing up being, such a daddy's girl and going on father-daughter trips, and that relationship being so strong, I wanted somebody that respected my dad enough. And so at the time, I was living in this tension, living in the push and pull of who to please, what to do, but also staying true to who I was. And that family thing really just raised its hand. And that's what started If Daddy Says No. And the story just kind of played out, and there's no resolution when you listen to the song of what I chose to do, but luckily in my own personal life there was a resolution, which Daddy did say no to this person when they asked for my hand in marriage in the most disrespectful way, and I'm so grateful for that. And I've moved on and have focused more so on the art and telling the story and getting the personal side of it out, in hopes that it will connect with other people. And playing it live has been so wonderful, because so many people have shared their stories with me as well.
Yeah, I love that messaging, because I think that's, such a real life, real world situation that many of us will experience or have experienced, as that parental approval when asking for someone's hand in marriage. So I like that, because it is very nerve wracking on both sides, right? Like as the person who's, going to be asked, you hope that the parents will tell them yes. And as the person asking, you're like a nervous wreck that, mom and dad will or won't say yes. I went through that myself with my wife, and it was terrifying. But anyways, we're married and everything's great. But so I think that's a great messaging, and I hope a lot of people connect with that. My final question for you, Harper, what's ahead for you this year? Can we expect more new music, maybe some tour stops? What do you have brewing?
Yeah, there may or may not be a secret version of this song also coming out a little bit later on. Very much focused on If Daddy Says No and the story that it's telling, and putting all of these pieces together. But there will be live shows and festivals and tours, all placed on my website, where I'll be this year, and the spots that I'll be hanging out. So hopefully if the viewer wants to come and join and listen to a live show, they can find everything on the website and on social media, and put all these pieces together for If Daddy Says No on my Instagram.
All right, I love it. Well, Harper, thank you so much. You can check out Harper Grace's music on all music streaming platforms and keep up with her journey on social media. Plus, tune in to If Daddy Says No at the end of February. Thank you.